Sometimes it feels like the sun will never rise, like the birds will never sing again. Believe in a power greater than what you are going through. When you don't know what to do, keep breathing.
That's right. When you don't know what to do, just keep on breathing. From the City of Angels in Los Angeles, welcome to all my listeners out there in Radio Land. I'm Dave, the Caregiver's Caregiver at caregiverdave.com, along with my lovely co-host, best-selling author, and former mayor of Grover Beach in Central California, Debbie Peterson. Also coming to you live and on demand on numerous syndicated radio and podcast networks on 30 global audio-video platforms, including iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Vimeo, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, and the list goes on and on. In fact, we're proud to be voted #1 caregiver podcast on FeedSpot out of thousands, and #1 caregiver podcast of the top 50 on Player FM. And we have an especially exciting show planned for you today. Gerard Wouters, Taoist therapist from Holland, author of 8 books and known from interviews on Dutch national TV. And it's his mission in life to help people heal from mental issues, we got a lot of those, in a 2-day workshop using storytelling. Interesting. Been teaching 693 caregivers, doctors, psychologists, nurses, physical, manual therapists, coaches for 28 years how to make life simple, happy, and successful the Taoist Way, which is the title of his book. Before we get started, let me thank my last week's guest again, Doing the Right Things Just Because, Larry Weingarten. And just a reminder, you can listen to that interview and all our interviews, including this one, on our membership website, caregiverdave.com, or any of the other 30 audio and video networks I mentioned earlier. And if you would just click the like or follow button, that would help Google spread this show even further. Okay, enough of that. Gerard, so great to have you on the Caregiver Dave Show.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
I always like to ask my guests just who is Gerard Wouters and why was he placed on this earth?
Well, who's Gerard Wouters? How much time do you have?
I'll give you like 30 seconds.
No, I'm Gerard Wouters, 61 years old, single, Taoist therapist for 28 years. I met my Taoist teacher many years ago, and he tested me and tried to find out if I had what it took to learn what he had to give me. He did that for 5 weeks, and after 5 weeks he asked me, well, do you want to learn this? And I said, what? What do you think? I've seen so many idiotic things I just can't believe. What you're seeing, what you're doing. And he said, you know what? I can teach you if you want, but I will go back to Thailand where I live. I said, well, there's no problem, but you know what? Let's commute. So on my account, I'll pay for it. You can come up to Holland, stay for months in my house. I had a big house at that moment. And when you need to go back, well, you need to go back. No problem there. So we did that for about 7 years. And after about 5-6 years or so, I said, you know what? This is such a valuable thing and such an incredible philosophy. It's such a waste locking it up in a monastery. So if you're okay with that, I am going to make this a really professional therapy. And he says, you know what? I think it's okay, but on one condition, you keep me out of it. So what do I mean with that? I don't want you to mention me or the place I live, because I don't want to become a tourist attraction. And I said, yeah, I fully understand why.
Wow.
Yeah. All this info and all this ancient secret philosophy. Yeah, I understand. No problem there. Yeah.
And you're 61 years old. I don't see a wrinkle on your face. That's amazing. But I guess it's stress-free living in Holland, huh?
Well, if only. No. No. The book is not just called How to Make Life Simple, Happy, and Successful the Taoist Way. Um, Practice what you preach.
One of the things I was really curious about is how you applied your Taoist learning and philosophy to caregiving for your ex-wife, and what kinds of things you can suggest to burnt out caregivers who are listening today.
Well, there's a few things. Caregiving out of guilt is completely wrong, and that will backfire on you. So if you are a caregiver or want to be a caregiver, do it with your heart. And one major thing is don't forget about you, because that's the issue with a lot of caregivers. I've known a few, and I've treated a lot of them, and they're all the same. They're completely giving themselves away, and they forget about themselves. And well, that's the perfect recipe for depression or burnout. And that's not what you want. And you're not going to help anybody being depressed or burnout.
That's universal advice. We hear that almost every single show. So people can really hang on to that one.
It makes you look younger too when you take care of yourself, right? I mean, we see people that are 60 and they look like they're 80, and we see people who are 80 and they look like they're 60. And it's just all about how you process life, either the glass is half full or half empty. Either you're stressed and worried every single minute of the day, or you're expecting wonderful things to happen, right? And you're expecting a lot of good things to happen.
There's a lot of things we need to unlearn. And I think that's about the secret I can share with anybody.
That's true.
Unlearning
true for golfers too, they say.
Yeah, well.
So what do we need to unlearn?
Well, there's a few things we need to unlearn. First, overthinking. Worrying all day is not going to help you. It makes you completely blind to what is really happening out there in the world, in your life, etc., etc. I will immediately admit that everybody is trying to teach you fear, and I don't. I unlearn fear, because when you fear, you give the control and the power over your life to somebody else, and that's not like it should be. You should be one in power of your life and in control. Yeah. So this is something I unlearn. And the cause of these two things is usually the feeling that you are not good enough. And this is a really essential problem in this world, because everybody gets the feeling that they're not good enough, no matter how hard they work, no matter how hard they work on their relationship, their business, whatever. It's never good enough. But the problem is the people that give you this signal and this feeling are themselves the people who feel it. And and the point I'm trying to make is that it's fine for them to feel that way, but not for you. So you don't need to get and learn this from them, because it's not right. This needs to be turned around. And you need to start evaluating yourself and understand your power, your place in this world. And that's not going to happen when you feel not good enough, when you worry, when you're depressed, when you have fear. You don't understand who you are when you fear, when you overthink. Everything goes completely by. Yeah. And you need to go back in and understand who you are and trust yourself.
So true. Quit being a people pleaser. 90% of things that I used to worry about never happened. Waste of energy, waste of time, waste of money.
Yeah, and thinking causes fear. Yeah.
So quit thinking.
I always say fear is the opposite of faith. Faith's the opposite of fear. If you have fear, you can't have faith. If you have faith, you can't have fear.
Well, I say it a different way. When you think, you cannot enjoy. And when you enjoy, you cannot think.
Yeah.
Make a choice. Do you want to enjoy life, or do you want to think about life? Yeah, and fear. Yeah. That's your choice. Yeah.
There's a saying, analyze till you're paralyzed. Confused people do nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's such a waste of life, overthinking everything. Yes. And what's very important to understand that everything in life happens for a reason.
Amen.
You stop thinking and start understanding about signals and clues, and that's what I teach people in sessions and in workshops. Understand that you get all kinds of signs from, well, we call it your whole, but most people would call it the universe or some higher spirit or whatever. We call it the total whole, and that gives signals. And when you understand how to decipher these signals, your life becomes a lot simpler. Because when you walk a path that's not right for you will get a signal that it's not right for you. And when you decipher this, this, you will find out what is the right path for you. You can turn it around. You know.
So
Let me give.
this
Let me give.
this higher power you speak of, it can be God, it can be whatever
Yeah,
your faith is in. It works
yeah,
for any
yeah.
religion, any
Well,
philosophy.
most important thing is to have faith in yourself.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Share a little bit about your caregiving journey. We talked a bit about some of the things that you've done to literally manage your way out of the difficulties. And I'm curious too, you mentioned that your wife's 120 kilometers away from you, or your
No,
ex-wife.
no, no,
How do you,
my daughter is
your
120.
daughter is. So
My wife
how do
is
you,
35 years.
well, tell
Yeah.
us how you've managed your situation. Share a bit so that others can understand and have inspiration.
Well, we spent 7 years together, and we broke up because of interfering of somebody else.
Mm.
So we didn't split with the fight. I helped her with finding a new place, the mortgage, etc., etc. And we just started. Stayed friends. Yeah. But yeah, 3 years after we separated, and she had a huge shoop, that's how you call it, with MS, an attack,
Mm.
and she landed herself in the wheelchair.
Wow.
Yeah, well, most guys, and let me say I separate guys from men, immediately say, you know what, this is too much for me. No, I'm not going to do it. And, find out and see yourself. Well, I'm not. No, people that are good for you, you shouldn't leave them behind when things get tough. Yeah.
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 And that's what I did. I took care of her, and I still take care of her for 19 years already.
Wow.
And unfortunately, the last year after the last COVID vaccination, she went completely downhill. So I had to pick her up off the floor for 15 times a week.
Wow.
But yeah, at one point we had to realize that this is not going to work anymore. So she landed herself in an hospital, and from the hospital she went to a nursing home. But yeah, I had to take care of all the business, all the administration. I sold the house, and thank God there was quite a lot of profit, so I could buy a van, a special wheelchair van, built for her, so
Wow.
that I could move her around, drive her around.
You're still her caregiver.
Yeah, I still care for her. Yeah, I'm not going to leave her. And
You're a good
even,
man, Charlie Brown.
well, even if I come to your country and start working out there, because that's my dream, I will find out who will replace me. I will find somebody, and the van is there. It's in front of her nursing home. So yeah. So every other week I take her out, and we go out for dinner.
Wow.
Yeah, well, there's very few that she can still do, and one of the thing is drink, and one of the thing is eat, and that's it. She can't do anything else. So I bought her a few.
She can feed herself.
No, yeah, well, yeah, she can, but it depends. If she's tired, she needs help. But if she's not,
So
then
if you
she
go
can.
out to dinner, you feed her.
No, not really. I help her when needed, but usually she can eat herself. But yeah, but I can see that it's not like she used to be. I see it takes a lot of effort for her. Yeah. But yeah, drinking and eating is the only thing that she's capable of doing at this moment. And yeah, that's hard. Oh, not only for her, but all for me too. Yeah. But yeah,
So I assume you got burned out before you learned how to take care of yourself. Yes.
well, yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on the brink. Yeah, absolutely. When I met my teacher, I was pretty close. Yeah, yeah.
You saw the
So,
warning signs. At least you sought help before it got really bad,
well, I found help. I didn't look for help. I found help.
or help found you.
Yeah, well, that's I think that's more appropriate. Help found me. Yeah, I met him at a business meeting. That's not really a place that you look for help, but yeah, he was
Wow.
supposed to do
No
some
accidents.
yeah, well, there's no coincidence. Yeah, everything happens for a reason, and when the when the pupil is ready, the teacher will show himself.
Oh, I say that all the time. Wow, good for you.
Absolutely, and did. So yeah, he was
So you say you met your help in a business meeting. Who did you meet in the business meeting?
well. I before I was a therapist and author, I was a financial interim manager, which is very peculiar because I'm very dyslexic. But yeah, I proved that it doesn't have to be a problem. There's a Chinese Taoist saying that says, something is impossible until somebody just does it.
That's so true. Yeah.
And
Were
I
you a
just,
successful financial manager, or were you
yeah,
broke?
no. I made about 10 to 20,000 euros a month.
Wow.
So, oh yeah, I was successful, absolutely. But yeah, it took a lot from me, yeah,
Now
mentally.
we're living in a different world than we were 10 years ago. Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
your
yeah,
investment strategies have changed.
yeah. Well, I found out there's 54 million people in your country who are depressed, and 63% of employees are burned out.
Yeah.
So I think it's about time I come to your country and start helping people. Yeah,
Come.
that's my mission. Not only helping my ex-wife, but also helping other people. That's the basis of my therapy. Yeah,
So tell us
yeah.
about the book. Why did you write it? What do you hope people will get out of it? And is it already out?
Yeah, it is out. Yeah, a few weeks ago I published it on Amazon.
Number 8. Yes.
Yeah, number 8. Yeah, right. Now, funny thing in the start the things I tell people immediately goes into their subconsciousness. And there's an advantage and a disadvantage. The advantage is that you change all kinds of things in your life without being aware of it. Yeah, things happen automatically with my treatment. Only the problem is you can't share it. You can't share what I told you. You can't share what all kinds of things that I explained to you. You can't because it's already inside. So I had a lot of ex-clients who asked me, you know what? I'm so excited about what you did with me, only I cannot reproduce it. So can you please put it in writing so I can share it with the world, with my friends, with my network? Because this is so valuable. I want to share it, but I can't reproduce what you did and what you told me. So, well, I said, you know what? Let's write a book. Yeah. And so I did.
Oh.
And I first published it in the Netherlands, in my country, and it did well. But yeah, at one point I decided, yeah, you know what? I don't want to be arrogant because that doesn't fit me. But my country is starting to become a little too small for me. and my treatment. So I decided, you know what? Let's translate the book. And so I did in a few days. Because,
How many
yeah.
languages so far?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, let me tell you a funny story. A few years ago, I consulted an ex-book agent. Maybe you've heard of him, Mark Malatesta. Yeah, he was a book agent for 11 years, and now he's a consultant. So he helps author get publishing, get publishers, etc., etc. And he said, you know what? Your book is 25,000 words, and that's a problem. So I said, why is that a problem? He says, well, it needs to be at least 42,000 words to become serious, to be taken serious in the US. I spent a few days behind my computer, and now it's over 43,000 words. Yeah. I wrote about 7,000 words a day.
Is it on Audible?
No, it's not that's not a listening book yet. No. But yeah, it's on Amazon, so people can buy it now. Yeah. And this is already the 6th podcast, and I have 12 more to go.
Can you give us? Is it possible you give us a sample of what's in the book? Or a testimony of somebody
in the book. In the book, I explain all kinds of life processes we go through, and make people understand how silly a lot of things are. We've been taught so many things on a daily basis that are just not correct and not true for us. Like what I said, fear, worrying, the feeling of being good enough. It has such an effect on people and on their environment, and they need to unlearn. And that's what I do with this book. I give all kinds of examples that people go through, all kinds of situations they go through, and I try to reflect on them and give them another vision on it, the Taoist vision. What I basically do is I explain how the Taoist philosophy looks at our daily issues and how they deal with him. And well, like you said, this is not 61. So I practice what I preach, and that's what I put in the book, to help people understand that life can be a lot simpler when you understand the signs, when you stop worrying, when you stop fear, and you open up. When you stop fearing, you open up, and you'll get a much bigger picture of the world and of your life. And in the book I give a lot of answers about how things like mind over matter. A lot of illnesses also originate from the mind, and I can explain that in a very simple language about how. Yeah, and I've had a lot of people in my practice who were chronically ill. And after my treatment, they started to heal, very much to the surprise of their specialists, because their specialists think that's not possible. Well, too bad for you, Mr. Doctor, because
they have arthritis or, recovering from a back pain, etc., where they say, "Oh, you need back surgery." You've even had success with that.
Yeah.
You should change the title of your book: "How to Make Life Simple, Happy, Successful, and Healthy."
Well, that could be. Yeah. Well, there's.
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting, but at 61, most people your age are suffering with high blood pressure, obesity, cholesterol, high cholesterol. What's your doctor say? Are you healthy?
Oh yeah.
You're on no medication?
I haven't seen him for 10 years.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
I don't even know what she looks like. Oh, she looks like. Yeah, no.
So you're the ideal weight. You have no medication you're taking, etc.
No, not really.
Wow.
Of course, I sometimes have a headache.
Hey, who doesn't?
You're going to have a headache if you're writing 7,000 words a day, for sure, especially if you're dyslexic.
Well, I don't
So
have much headache, so
We've
yeah.
got
I'm
time for
very
one more
curious
question.
about,
You got a question for him? Our last question.
I do. Thanks for letting me do the last one. I'm really curious about how someone who you told us, or you told me earlier, you were dyslexic, or how do you write books when you're dyslexic? How does that work?
Well,
He starts from the end and works his way toward the
what
beginning.
a lot of people don't understand and don't realize is that people who are dyslexic think like computers,
Hmm.
pictures. Yeah, I
Hmm.
know. When I worked as a financial interim manager, um, at one moment I worked with a company which is a daughter company of the IBM, so big, huge computers, and they have invoices with invoice numbers with 13 digits,
Oh.
13 digits. And at one moment, I received an invoice, and I said, you know what? I've already received this one, and I saw it by the invoice number and the amount on the invoice. These two, and I found six more, and I walked up to my colleague there, and I said, I already received these. And he says, that's not possible. I said, well, I'm not stupid. So I started searching, and 1.5 months before that, I did receive these 7 invoices. And he was completely flabbergasted. But I see it as a picture. I don't see the digits, I see a picture. And that picture compares with the amount. And I say, yeah, I've already received this one. Yeah.
Wow,
So
that's fascinating.
people who are dyslexic have a photographic memory, and they're usually much more intelligent than the average people. Yeah, I have a
That's interesting.
146 IQ, and that's probably even higher because of my dyslexia. Yeah, so yeah, because you don't have the time you need to do things. But yeah, yeah.
Well, I can't believe how fast our time's gone today. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Gerard. How can
Well,
our listeners reach you and buy the book?
yeah, they can. Yeah, the book is on Amazon, and I have a website. I don't know if I can put it here in the
Yeah.
chat. Can show it.
It's www.taoist, which is spelled Taoist, and then ICISCH.NL for Netherlands.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Uh,
Taoist
on
Netherlands.
the top right of my website, there's a button that translates the website in English.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Very
So,
good.
well, I
There
already
is a
found it.
way. There is a way to have a simple website, easy website that people can remember that can be forwarded to that one. So you could look into that.
Well, yeah. Well, let's have a look. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's just free. That's just free advice.
If you can give me a link, so yeah, I'm always open to suggestions.
Debbie, how can
Every
people reach you as a former mayor with lots of experience, especially in the how to find corruption in your government,
oh yeah, don't
More
don't,
important, how to fix it.
how to fix
yeah.
it,
And
find it and fix
yeah,
it?
how to fix it once you found it, if you found it, or if you suspect it.
Well,
And
people.
I'm on Amazon as well. So when you're looking for Gerard's Taoist books, you can look for Debbie Peterson Integrity 101. And the big book is The Happiest Corruption, Sleaze, Lies, and Suicide in a California Beach Town.
Wow.
And you'll
So that's
find my book on there too. Number one Amazon bestseller. It's Your Life Too: How to Survive and Thrive as a Caregiver. Wherever books are sold, also, and also my free membership site, caregiverdave.com, where you can also schedule a free 30-minute initial coaching call and talk about whatever you're struggling with. You can also
cool.
join my community of 34,000 caregivers on Facebook at Caregiver Dave. And we have lots of
Mhm.
tools, resources, videos, this radio show, and much, much more. And don't forget to click the follow or like button. Help us reach even more caregivers. Okay, well,
I
again, a
found that.
big thank you to you and my co-host Debbie and all those people out there who tune in every Wednesday and make us the number one caregiver podcast on the internet. Until next week, same time, same channel. May God richly bless you all. Bye-bye.
Dave Nassani, the Caregiver's Caregiver, has just released his 6th book entitled It's My Life Too, Thrive to Stay Alive as a Caregiver. It was specifically written for caregivers who know they should be putting their needs first, but just don't know how. Dave is the sole caregiver to his wife, Charlene, since 1996. He knows firsthand what caregivers are going through, because he is one. He now speaks all across the country, offering caregivers his amazing caregiver support package. Even the airlines tell us that in the event of an emergency, to put your oxygen mask on first, before you help your child with their mask. They know that those who don't heed their advice often black out, thus becoming unable to help either themselves or their child. And caregivers are exactly the same way. It's My Life Too, Thrive and Stay Alive as a Caregiver will help caregivers who are neglecting their sleep, diet, and social life and learn to put their needs first. Pick up your copy today or buy one for your special caregiver, on sale everywhere and at caregiverdave.com.
Sometimes it feels like the sun will never rise, like the birds will never sing.